To This Week in Sports. I'm your host, Nick, with my co-host, Zach.
Hello, hello.
And we are here once again to run down the week of sports ahead of us, or behind us now, I should say. And we're coming to you a little earlier than normal on our Saturday evening record here. So not quite as much sports action to cover today, but we still have a little bit. Although I will say this is a bit of a sign of the summer slowdown.
A little bit. We do have some... Not as much to cover, but we can dive into a little bit deeper into some of these topics that we'll talk about this week.
Indeed. I also have a little bit of a surprise segment to make up for my lack of quiz last week.
Oh, well, this should be interesting.
Do you have a quiz for this week?
Of course I do.
Okay, fantastic. Well, way to keep us on schedule, and I have a makeup segment, so...
Very, very good. Where would you like to begin our week this week?
Well, let's go ahead and get the sad news out of the way first. We'll talk about the team who's in town for fireworks this weekend, the Colorado Rockies.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Chicago White Sox.
Well, they are the team to talk about if we're going to talk about any of them. But yes, the White Sox are in town this weekend to play our anonymous Rockies. For a weekend series.
Oh, the tone of your voice leads me to believe that it's about to get a little dark and gloomy. Put sad music here.
Yeah. So far, when we last left the Rockies on last Sunday afternoon, we were in progress on Game 3 of the Brewers series. I can happily report that the Rockies did squeak that one out. That was Orlando Arcia getting a clutch home run with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th to force extra innings. Kyle Farmer knocked in Brenton Doyle in the top of the 11th for the winning run to make it a 4-3 victory. Then the Astros came to town, and we are not in the same league as the Astros. The Astros are a competent winning baseball team.
I'd say...
They had their championship heights. They still have some pieces from that, mostly just Jose Altuve. But they're kind of already back on the upswing of being like playoff competitive again. I think they're like a wild card bubble borderline team right now, but that's still leagues ahead of where we are.
Yeah, definitely leagues ahead of where we are. Are they a competent competing team yet? I don't know. I don't know much about the Astros.
Like many teams before them, they looked pretty good at playing against us.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they came in and took 2 of 3 against our Purple Pinstripe boys. The first one of those games, Chase Dollander gave up a third inning grand slam that the boys tried their darndest to come back from, but were not able to get any closer than 6-5 for the final on that one. And then in game 2, another situation with bases loaded. Jose Altuve came up and hit a clutch double, and that put that one out of reach. That was a 5-3 final. But in game 3 on Thursday afternoon, with hardly anyone in attendance to witness a getaway game, the Rockies did pull out a 7-6 clutch victory to avoid the sweep.
We'll get one now-ish, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing, again, that we can keep saying is this is a scrappy team, and despite how clearly bad they are, they continue to keep themselves in games nowadays, if nothing else. 4-3, 6-5, 5-3, 7-6, 3-2, one-run games. They, in general, are having the winning run, if not tying run, on base or at bat by the end of the 9th inning.
I will say the one thing that we are getting more of is run support. That feels a little bit more in place. The games that we are in...
The margins are getting a lot slimmer for being able to line up a good hitting performance and good pitching performance, some clutch at batting. But that being said, they don't clutch nearly often enough to make a winning baseball team.
No, we don't have a clutch gene in us at all. Like the games you talked about, like pitcher gives up grand slam in 3rd inning, like that right there is almost a a game over for majority of teams through the league.
The only positive about that situation is it's so early in the game you have time to come back. But yeah, it's a very demoralizing thing in general to be down 6-1.
Yeah, it feels like we're missing that secret ingredient of like pitching, and we've talked about it a lot on this podcast, how important that sort of one-on-one duel is between the pitcher and the batter. And we're not asking dudes to come out here and get strikeouts. We'd maybe like some ground balls, depending what our defensive situation looks like.
So we've kind of like philosophically tried both in the Aaron Cook. What was Francis's first name?
Was that Jeff Francis?
Yes, thank you. The lanky Canadian Jeff Francis. That era of Rockies pitching was all around the theory of if they pitch to contact but ground balls instead of fly balls, that's the ticket. That there were some glimpses of it working. Didn't always work. It just kind of requires your pitcher to be automatic at hitting his spots.
Yeah, it does require your pitcher still to be good. Like that's what I think makes good pitchers good, right? You have the two philosophical ideas. You have the dudes out there who are not going to strike out a lot of people, but will potentially throw a perfect game, just pure ground balls and just making his defenders make the plays. And there's the dudes out there who are going to beat you inside the box.
Yes. And unfortunately, that's just, again, as we've mentioned several times, having the wildest fluctuation between home and away game situation, our pitching just has never been able to be that consistent. The best we've seen is the Ubaldo Jimenez Wonder Hour year, where he was actually pretty automatic all year.
The year and a half that run that he had that he got traded out of.
And that was, kind of, bad track record. It's a relatively different bunch of people making the decisions nowadays, but yeah, not a great piece of evidence in the history of trying to get value for our good players.
Yeah, the way it turned out for him, unfortunately, did not go.
The Orioles overpaid for him. We didn't really get anything out of the deal either way, either. Unfortunate. And I bring that up because the rumor mill continues to churn about Ryan McMahon to the Yankees to fill a spot for them at third base at a reasonable price.
What a second base, third base combo they would have there.
Yeah, that'd be fun to have that be a playoff appearance for Ryan McMahon. But that is kind of a classic route for Rockies players to go get actual competitive games in with other teams. So
turn over your pinstripes.
Yeah, basically. But we'll see how that develops. Rimac has cooled down a little bit this week. Not blasting as many home runs. This was actually a Tyler Freeman week to get hot at the plate. He had several good at-bats that resulted in RBIs. Obviously, only the 2 wins to talk about this week out of the 6 games, but that's okay.
That's a third. We are winning a third. That's improvement.
It's true. The although this is still the most awful, so this is the East-West toilet bowl. We had the West versus West, worst of the worst when we swept the Marlins, surprisingly enough. But yeah, the 2 teams, and we are in progress on Game 2 of the White Sox series right now as we're reporting. But the current record in this matchup is 29-59 for the White Sox and 20-68 for the Rockies.
Not very good.
2 absolutely terrible baseball squads. But that being said, watching the White Sox, at least in this Game 1 series, where we got to see them debuting a few different there have been at least 3 different new MLB debuts this week between the games I watched through on this run of series. But the White Sox got their number 5 prospect up into the big leagues now, and he made some defensive plays right off the bat. They had their pitcher go 8 innings of 2-run ball, which you'll take that in Coors Field any night.
Yeah, it's tough to do, especially for a god-awful team.
And it was a shame because Senzatella was actually doing pretty good. He had only given up 2 runs through 6 innings, but then top of the 6th into his 90th pitch of the evening, it got blown up for a home run out to right field, and that was the deciding factor.
Yeah, I think that's. I don't know. I think the White Sox philosophically are a little bit more competitive than we are.
They're already working I mean, they're still only a year or two into their newest plan with their current GM and president and strategy and whatnot, but it does kind of look like they've got a lot of good young pieces kind of loading up here pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm excited for them. They a couple years ago they were up there. They had like a lot of young bright stars that apparently just did not pan out for them or have some other issues on and off the field. But maybe the Rockies could do something similar. Hopefully, our new management that comes in, I don't know when they come in, the end of the off season here, have to shake up things for us.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we've got like I said, Warren Schaefer's almost certainly gonna be the guy going forward. And now we've got a new team executive vice president in Walker Monfort, so maybe that will come with new decision making, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Who knows? Like I said, it really just sounds like he's handing the keys to his son and says, Go do with this what you will.
Essentially,
assume he's just like a little put some.
If anything, it's like I saw the Cronkies over there. Stan let his boy have a job, so I'll give my boy a job too.
Yeah, but the Cronkies are real competitors out here.
Yeah, we know. Other baseball news to mention this week for fans of John Oliver, you might already have heard that he decided to sponsor himself a minor league baseball team. On the caveat that they give him full creative control and that they must use whatever he delivers with no input or feedback whatsoever.
Some teams would take that.
Oh, several teams, I believe 18 teams submitted to the Late Show John Oliver, or whatever the name. I don't remember the name of his. This is last week with John Oliver.
Yeah.
Hey, similar concept.
Very right.
Great minds think alike. Anyway, he announced who his winner for the contest is, and it is the Erie Seawolves, who one of their many arguments for why they needed the rebrand was that they are nowhere near any bodies of water, including a sea. The nautical name was back when they were the minor league team for Pittsburgh, but they are now the minor league team for Cleveland because apparently, without doing anything to the minor league teams themselves, the major league teams just trade whose pipeline those teams are.
Yeah, the minor league team is all weird. I do like some of the minor league teams, like the Seawolves. I've either played with or played for on MLB The Show at some point.
They're pretty regular, recurring, and then once you get into the when you're playing the AAA level, you kind of see the same 4 or 5 teams over and over and over again.
Like I hate Seawolves over and over again. Yeah.
But yes, so John Oliver, digging into the history of Erie, Indiana, I believe, found that they are also famous for discovering mammoth fossils in one of their lakes. And the diver who went and found the first tusk was named Ernie Moon or something. I forget his first name, but his last name's Moon. So the proposed team mascot change is now they are the Erie Moon Mammoths. And it's a pretty great concept. They do end up with a purple dinosaur as their mascot, though. A purple dinosaur mascot called a mammoth. Not feeling any shade over here about that. But it is a pretty fun design. It is a purple mammoth with a space helmet. And the Seawolves have apparently had a long history of doing kind of fun, tongue-in-cheek theme nights. So they are apparently not permanently changing their franchise over to this branding, but they are using it for a handful of different games for the rest of their season.
Good for them, though.
Yeah, and promises to be a good publicity draw type of thing. And John Oliver did promise to go throw a pitch at one of these games.
Yeah, the minor leagues are like little bit of a free run out there. It's kind of, I'm pretty sure why we have Star Wars Night and a lot of different MLBs. It's literally just like a testing ground down there.
Exactly. Yeah. Good memory on the tidbit from sports trivia.
Yeah. Crazy enough, did you hear about the fan that got banned for, I think it's for life out there in Arizona?
In Arizona, yeah. Was that the one about Ketel Marte?
No, that's a different one. There's two different fan bannings this week.
Okay, because there was one for a very inappropriate heckling.
Yep, the one about there's that one about Ketel Marte where everyone's like, no. Now that one was in Houston, I want to say somewhere. I forget where, but it was not in Arizona. The Arizona one's crazy. They're banning a fan who has been in, I think he's been in 5 different incidents where he's grabbing the ball because he has
he's right at the edge.
Season tickets there right at the wall, the edge, and he's been out of it's either like 5 or 6 times this has happened already. Only one of them has been called fan interference. The rest have not, and the MLB has said this guy has got to go.
He can't.
So the
the
Diamondbacks basically the MLB has banned him from life from going there.
Interesting.
So the crazy thing is, one, there's 2 crazy things. He does it even against his own team in Arizona.
Yeah, he's just hunting for those balls.
Correct. And 2, only one of the 5 or 6
incidents actually
got called as fan interference.
That's wild. If I were on the opposing team, I'm arguing for that every single time.
The players are going nuts every time he does it, and the umps are just like, eh.
That's why you're getting replaced by robots, umps. But yeah, absolutely wild fan behavior this year. There have been several incidents. So we had 2 bannings, and then the drunk kid in Pittsburgh who fell off the scoreboard and nearly killed himself.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
The fact that he survived is insane. But I mean, don't be a dummy.
Yeah.
But that was all of our little baseball news this week. Again, pretty quiet around the league in our build up to All-Star and trade deadline, and everyone's figuring stuff out. Shohei's up to pitching 2 innings an outing now.
Let's go.
But that's all I have to report from the wider world of sports or of baseball.
Yeah, I'm so excited for the All-Star, and the one thing I hate about the MLB is for some reason every team has to have a representative there. That is the most annoying thing.
It's still quite the toss-up on who ours is going to be. It was looking like Jacob Bird as an early favorite for the first half of the season, and then the second quarter, maybe Hunter Goodman's been hitting decently enough to.
It has to be one of the. It has to be one of the either Tovar. I would expect
Tovar hasn't played enough even to qualify for being in the league leads for anything.
Who's our first baseman? Let's throw him out.
Michael Tolia these days.
Yeah, let's throw him out there.
His numbers aren't that hot.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah, but we'll see. That is a.
I hate that rule so much.
I mean, NBA still does it too, don't they?
No, it's all.
No, we've had that discussion about how few spots there are for All Stars, and what a popularity contest it turns into that way.
Yeah.
The
NHL, I don't think the NHL is the same way, where you only have so many few.
I think they still try and get one, at least someone, even if they don't play that much. They might only be a 4th liner or something who gets 2 shifts in the game, but. They still try and get at least one person from every team.
I don't like it. If you're bad, you don't deserve it. And especially if you're bad and you don't have any good players, you don't deserve it.
Yeah. It's generally most of the time that even bad teams have one guy who's pulling his weight.
The closer. That's who we throw out there.
I don't think we've had a designated closer all year. We've had 4 or 5 different guys.
The mustache guy.
Agnos, the rookie, who his numbers aren't great.
Yeah,
and he also doesn't have the innings.
He had a little bit of a rough go there for sure.
Indeed. Tell us about basketball news this week.
Basketball news this week. Oh, where to even begin here? We'll start.
It's been crazy.
Yeah, we'll start in the WNBA because there's not a whole lot more to talk about in that one. Like I said, we are middle of season right now. Teams are playing for real. To start the week off, the couple of crazy games that happened earlier on this week. I'm trying to do the math in my head now that we're on a Saturday. Earlier on this week, Minnesota and Connecticut once again, and just that matchup is yuck once again. 102-63 is the final score on that one. Connecticut just needs to figure something out. Nafisa had an amazing game, 23-9, and then along with her, Kayla McBride also added 20. So that's already 2/3 of what the Connecticut Suns put up. So feel bad for them. They need to figure something out, and they just need to stop doing some things up. The other crazy game that happened on the same day was the Chicago Sky versus Los Angeles Sparks. This one, a little bit more of a barn burner for our bottom tier down there. Chicago Skies do come away with this victory, 92-85. This one is crazy. Why? Because, as we talked about, this was a couple games left for Cardoza before she heads out back to Brazil.
Oh, right.
And in Angel Reese in this game, 24-16. This is her.
Wow.
She becomes the first player to record a 15-plus rebound game in 4 straight games, and she's basically double-doubling it, positively. So the Sky have kind of that they might be taking that turn that we've been expecting this whole time. Got to dig themselves out of the basement. So we'll see how things kind of come to a close as we head into their All-Star weekend in a couple weeks here. And the next one, Atlanta Dream breaking down the New York Liberty. Liberty dropping another one, 90-81. Unfortunate for the Liberty here. Not much to say about that. Just rough outing for them.
It's hard to come so hot out the gate and then keep that up all season long.
Yeah, even the shorter WNBA 44 games, that's a lot of games to play. You can't expect to win the ball, can't expect to play well in every single one of them. So things like that bound to happen. And the best one of the week that everyone was excited for, July 1st, Commissioner's Cup, the Indiana Fever versus Minnesota Lynx. Minnesota Lynx forgot to show up, though, unfortunately. Indiana Fever win this one 74-59. And in this one, we don't have a Caitlin Clark here. So they are Caitlin Clarkless for the most part. And like I said, Minnesota just really did not show up here. Don't know what happened.
There's a little whiff of their best player's not on the court. We can just kind of take our foot off the gas.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Again, comes back to the last statement. Can't expect to play all of them well. This one is super cool because cool-ish. One, because they are getting a $500K prize pool that they have to divide amongst all the players, which is like a $50K-ish bonus for everyone. I think if there's like 12 people on the team or so, which is roughly about right for that WNBA roster.
Yep.
In this game, it should be noted that Fever did go on an 18-0 run ending the second quarter before halftime. So explains what happened there.
Yeah, that's hard to overcome, even if you are clicking and like playing your best ball. And if you're still trying to get up into gear, that's almost impossible mountain to climb.
Yep, and the last exciting game of this week was, once again, the New York Liberty cannot find a win against the Phoenix Mercury. They dropped this one 106-91. So Sabally, who we know from the Unrivaled League, just straight up balling. 24 points with her name, 7 for 10 beyond the arc. That's just shooting lights out.
Yeah.
And of course, Phoenix proving to be a top competitor there in the WNBA shaking out. Nothing's really changed from, I guess, our tier list that we talked about last week. The tiers are just separated so much right now that we need a little bit more time before we get some separation and some teams jumping between the tiers. Excited to see if Chicago turns that corner there and gets some more victories to their name. And Los Angeles Sparks, I should note that the game that just got played today, did not have it on my list because I made the list just a little bit earlier. The Sparks do come away with a win today against none other than our Indiana Fever, 89-87. So another close victory. And no Caitlin Clark again for them as well. So,
I mean, bummer to see your star player missing, but that is been pretty good run that the Fever have gone without her so far this year, even just going like 50% this week.
Yeah, I don't want to compare them to the Nuggets because Caitlin Clark and Jokic are just two completely different players, dominant in their own respective.
Not that that's an apples to apples comparison, but similarly reliant on the star.
Yeah, a little bit more. I would say that comparing the Nuggets to the Fever have way more shooters than the Nuggets had last season, which allows them to win allows them to be in some games and get some victories, which we've seen without Caitlin Clark because she's missed a handful of games now this season. I am a little scared because for some reason, like we talked about earlier on in the podcast or a few podcasts ago, how reliant the WNBA is right now on the Stars. So if there's no Caitlin Clark playing, no one watches. Don't know why that is. It's still great basketball being played for the most part. Sometimes just bad games happen. Don't watch a Connecticut New York or Connecticut Lynx game apparently, but everything else is really good for them. And they are some other little notes for the WNBA is they are in discussions for their CBA currently. From what we've heard, is everything's been going well, but nothing's been set in stone. So
makes sense because they still have all season to keep hammering out details.
Very much so. And we will jump over to the NBA, the men's side of this. It's a frenzy out there. Free agents, like we talked about, draft happened last week. On Monday or Tuesday, free agency opened up, and it's been crazy. Whatever day the 30th was, I can't remember from the top of my head. It's been a crazy.
It was Monday.
It was Monday indeed. It's been a flurry of all sorts of news. Players moving all over the place. It's been a crazy time out there. We will start with sort of just some of the big trades that have happened since then. I'm trying to look for something non-Nugget related because we have so much to talk about. There are a lot of sign and trade deals.
Kevin Durant moved, didn't he?
That was a couple weeks ago. That was right before the draft happened. So nothing big news there. Free agency wise, not the same deal. A couple crazy things that happened free agency wise is we see Dorian Finney-Smith, who was, I don't want to call him a key piece to the Lakers because we know who the big players on the Lakers roster is, but he is an important role player for them. Decided to skip out of town. He was going to go down to Houston because things over there look a little bit different now for that Houston Rockets team, that young Houston Rockets team. They are sort of stacking their team up to take down the Oklahoma City Thunder, who won this championship this last year, and the West is looking a little scary. We will talk a little bit more about why it's so scary here in a minute. The other crazy one is D'Angelo Russell, who we know from the Lakers, the Nets, the Minnesota Timberwolves, back to the Lakers, and now he's heading off to Dallas. He's going to go play that starting point guard role while Kyrie is out nursing his Achilles. So good news, good for them. The starting round, I would expect him to be in the starting lineup for the first time in a while. Lakers did not give him that opportunity because LeBron naturally has a little bit of a short leash out there, and JJ Redick mostly. He's apparently a little bit more frustrated in that coaching role with some of his younger, less controlled players, we'll say.
Sure, that checks out. JJ's fairly old school.
Yeah, but he actually is. It's kind of a little strange. But D'Angelo will be out there with Anthony Davis, his former teammate. They're going to get the new young Cooper Flag on board. It'll be different out there in Dallas. I don't know what to expect from them quite yet. Don't know if they're going to be a playoff contender player because, like we talked about, the West is stacked. On top of that, Houston did add Clinton Capella to their center spot, a backup center spot. He is just going to be they're a little bit of an answer to Jokic. They don't want to have a lot of people trying to set up to take away Oklahoma City, but also deal with the Jokic situation that we have here in Denver.
Yep.
And the other crazy one that we saw happen is we saw DeAndre Ayton, first round, number 1 overall pick, DeAndre Ayton, who got shipped off to Portland a couple years ago, got bought out of his contract because things were not working out. If you cannot make it to work when there's a snowstorm / your driveway is full of ice, maybe this is not the right place for you. Bought out of his deal. He'll be heading over to Los Angeles. He's going to become a Laker. They did pay a little bit of a pretty price for him. He's on a 2-year, $16.6 million deal. He does have basically 1 year and then a player option after that. Some sort of option. I don't remember if it was player or team. So that is, I don't know what to expect from him. He's been underperforming for the most part for what he's been shown that he should be capable of, perhaps, maybe. And from what we know about our time playing against Portland and Phoenix, doesn't really deal with Jokic all that well either.
Yeah, I don't think that concerns us too terribly, but maybe he'll enjoy the change of scenery with half the games in California now.
He needs a change of scenery. Needed it bad, real bad out there. And the most crazy one of the free agency, besides what we're about to talk about here, Denver Nuggets, is Miles Turner. Just played in the finals.
That's right.
Said he is out of Indiana and he's jumping over to their rivals out in Milwaukee. It's going to be him and Giannis out there.
That's a pretty wild move.
The Indiana Pacers roster has completely changed from
Yeah.
what we saw just a couple weeks ago. Not like no Tyrese is gone for the year for sure. Miles is gone. It's not the same.
It's very wild to see, yeah, that team that was a game away, pretty much already completely dismantled as a roster.
Yeah, I don't know what the thinking is there.
It's going to be like a Frankenstein of itself at best.
It very much so is going to be that this season. Don't know what the deal is. From what we've heard out of Indiana is the difference was $15 million that sort of made and broke the deal in the Bucks' favor that Indiana was not willing to give him.
Well, I mean, I think that's a pretty good segue for talking about how we made some moves, because there are just a lot of teams who are desperate to move some money around.
Everyone is desperate to move money around, as we've seen all of the Boston Celtics cut $300 million out of their cap hit, we'll call it. The other note that should be noted from Milwaukee is they did chop Dame as well in a little bit of a head scratching / shrug manner. Just wrong place, wrong time, I guess, for Dame. But out here in Denver, we'll start with the free agents to begin here. We already talked about a couple free agents coming in. We have Bruce Brown, who we know and love here. The Cowboys coming back into town. We know what he's going to bring: defense, a little bit of offense. He has struggled mightily away from the Nuggets, I might add. And he has a little bit of an injury bug.
So the injury thing is, not a whole lot you can do about that. That's pretty standard Nuggets stuff. But yeah, that's very exciting to have Bruce Brown be able to come off the bench now.
Very much so. Don't know what to expect from him. A lot of people are saying that him as a player, he's going to play better on a good team than he is on a bad team. That's just who he is.
He's going to be that second battery energizer player that Christian Brown also was coming off the bench a little bit.
Yep, we will see Brown and Brown
being able to rotate that again.
Yeah. Rotate and put them together. We'll see the Brown and Brown defensive attorney-in-laws back in town. A little bit of a rhyme there. And we also brought Tim Hardaway Jr. in on a minimum contract, both men's for these guys here, veteran men's. Tim Hardaway Jr. offers the Nuggets a lot more reliable shooting. Why a lot of people are saying he struggled a little bit in the playoffs, but what he brings to the Nuggets is, when left open, he is shooting at a 60 or 65% clip from the 3-point range, which is something we do not have currently.
Would be a huge upgrade to the current shooting situation.
Yes.
But yeah, why would we need to replace shooting on the roster there, Zach?
Why would we replace shooting on the roster? There has been a move that has been made, one that I did not anticipate and said, this is probably not going to happen, but we did ship Michael Porter off to the abyss out there in Brooklyn, and we bring in Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson, I don't want to compare. He and Michael Porter are probably the most comparable players. Like, it's really swap for swap.
Mm-hmm.
What we lose in Michael Porter Jr. with Cam Johnson is we lose a little bit of height. Cam is just slightly shorter. Michael Porter is standing at a roughly 7-foot frame. Long wingspan. He goes against a lot of our rebounds for us at that size. Cam is standing about 6'7", 6'8", so a little bit shorter. What we do gain with Cam is consistency. He has been consistent all the way through, even when he played in Phoenix. He is basically a catch and shoot spot up shooter. That is what he is known to do. He can do it off the dribble a little bit and is a little bit a better passer than Michael Porter. Hopefully he can pick up the reboundings, because that do need that. Especially since he is also a slightly better defender. Statistically wise, it's like dead even. Michael Porter is like 18.2. Cam is like 18.9 points.
Yeah, very close.
So the other thing we gain out of this is $30 million in cap back, or not $20 million in cap back. Porter was due a $45 million contract, where Johnson's going to get 20 this year.
And that was huge. And then what was the Saric for?
Yeah, we did. Unsure what to do with Sarge, whether he was going to play or not, but we did flip him for Jonas Valanciunas, who is going to go and opt out of his contract here and go play out in Europe. So that's going to be $10 million back to us to do whatever with. I've been hearing a lot of rumblings of bringing in Al Horford, who was on Boston's team. I would like him probably a little bit better. I would have liked Jonas here. I think he, not a great defender, but he is physical. He's big. He's strong. I would have liked that, but bringing in Al, who is big, He can still move a little bit, and he can shoot the ball as a big guy as well. Do like all those things.
We just need one big guy off the bench.
Just
a little spelling for Jokic.
Yeah, Jonas was supposed to be that. I'm, like I said, sad that he's not gonna be here. I do understand as a basketball player, he's gonna go somewhere where he has a bigger role.
Yeah, he'll still be a starter out in Euro.
He's gonna be a starter out in Euro. He's gonna, from what I heard, is he's gonna get paid about the same amount after all the details worked out at the end of the day for his contract. He's kind of, everyone was making fun of him because he was skipping out. He played. Jonas started in Toronto, where it was a little bit of a rough go out there after they traded basically Chris Bosh in that time period. Then got shipped out to the Washington, which we know how things go out there in Washington, as we talked about. It's also a little bit of an island of misery. And then he got shipped to Sacramento, who was struggling pretty much all season long with a variety of different things. To come to Denver and have the chance to be on the best team, chance to be a front runner for a championship, and say, I want to go start somewhere and potentially go win a championship at Euros. Everyone's like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it certainly bucks the trend, but I think that just goes to show like the sort of development of those European leagues, and like their contracts are getting up there, and they know talent when they see it and are willing to invest to keep it in their games too.
Yeah, I mean, going back, he's played like all Europeans. He is from Lithuania. They've played professional ball since you can start playing out there at 16. So they know what the environment's like. For some of them, it's like a homecoming for that EuroLeague.
Yeah, and then there'll be a much bigger star over there, I'm sure, comparatively.
Very much so. Like we talked about, the Euro basketball games are not the same environment we get here at all. It is crazy and it is intense. And for some people, being the star out there is far better than just being a role player sort of.
Yeah, to have the undying love of an entire little country versus the vague disinterest of a very big country.
Yeah, you'll have
different experiences.
Could have the undying love of a little state inside of a country.
It's true.
Yeah, so that is what the Nuggets are going to look like. So going forward, starting rotation, we are going to see Jamal Murray, probably Christian Brown if I had to guess, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic. And the backup role, we're going to have Bruce Brown, Strother, Watson, I do believe.
Yeah, he probably is going to be up there.
Holmes and somebody else. And then potentially Zeke Naji is going to, we still need to figure out what to do.
Still have Naji, yeah.
We still need to figure out what we're going to do with him. I think we're potentially looking to move him still from what our very active GMs have done thus far.
Yeah, the new administration in the front office working quickly to make some moves and sort of right the ship, as it were, which seemed like, I saw a lot of takes this week about like what was Calvin Booth doing if it was this easy to come in and basically week one pull the trigger on like 2 big deals.
So it's just it's like a philosophy. Like I would assume anyone who's listening to this and as well as ourselves have played general manager inside of our sports games. It's making sort of the philosophical decision. Do I draft all my players and build them up here, or do I try to go out of house and build something, stick something together that is going to look very, very nice at the end? And Calvin Booth was always of the mindset of you want to build in-house, one, because it's a little bit cheaper on the cheaper side for the most part.
It's cost effective, but it's a gamble because you have to hit on your draft picks.
Got to hit on your draft picks, and you don't know what the timetable is for some of these. Luckily, and we've been lucky enough to have like Christian Browns and Michael Porter Jr.'s that we get them late enough and they come around and they are effective and good basketball players for what we need them to do around our Jokic Murray combo, I will say.
Yes.
But the two that came in, I am shocked. I am aghast that they traded Michael Porter because he is from the beloved Mizuho of the Cronkies, but the mindset for them, I think they win here in a couple ways. One is we really want consistency, and I think ultimately, as much as we love Missouri here in the state of Colorado, at least from a Denver Nuggets side, it seems ultimately we need to make Nikola Jokic happy, and he needs more consistency around him. He echoed that very much so, sort of in his exit presser, if we'll say. So that's sort of the ultimate end goal there, and I think Cam Johnson will do so. Like I said, bringing in one, he's a slightly better defender and a more consistent shooter. That is really all Nikola Jokic needs to be successful out there for sure.
Yeah, I think across the board, much more confident in the roster now than I was at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh,
it's
I
oh,
completely messed up the lineup. Bruce Brown, Harden, Hardaway. I forgot we had
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Hardaway is gonna be
Hardaway's
the
going to be in there just shooting the ball. Then it's going to be Stothard, P. Watton, then Holmes, and whoever else is going to rotate
which is
out of that
huge
spot.
because it gives Strother and Piwat a little bit like more leash. They don't have to be the guys right away now.
Yeah, I think so. There's
They get the actual time to develop, maybe.
yeah. So about
We'll
that,
see.
so Watson is rookie contract is coming to an end after this season. So his time
Yeah.
to develop is kind of over.
Running out.
Yeah, over. The question is there's a lot of people trying to figure out what to do with him. Do you go trade him for something? Someone a little bit younger who's still on a rookie contract? Do you resign him? If you resign him, how much are you willing to pay him? Things like that are coming up around P-Watt, which is a little scary and sad, but also from our rotation, right? Looking at it, if we lose P-Watt, depending on how Daron Holmes pays out, our rookie that we got last
We
year.
still haven't even seen Duran other than he played, one game before he ripped his ACL?
1.5.
Okay, fantastic.
Got one and a half
we
games
we
out
could
of him.
still use some more data on that.
Yeah, so figuring out what he is, Peyton Watson potentially, he's going to be hard to come by, but he, depending on what the money situation looks like at the end of all this, or however this run begins, depending, maybe out of the town here. But that to be determined.
Yes, interesting. Then we must take advantage of this year we have this whole thing together.
Yeah. I will say this is probably the best bench we've ever potentially had, but in our championship year, because really Bruce Brown was doing a lot of him and
Heavy
Christian
lifting,
Brown were doing
yeah.
a lot of heavy lifting on the squad. Having the lineup that we do now, if somebody's not hitting like Christian Brown, guess what, Christian Brown, come sit next to old David Adelman here, and we're gonna throw Tim Hardaway out there and just pop him in a corner, and you have to go guard him now.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to leave him open for threes.
And that will, completely, huge for the best player in the world to just give him some options.
Yes. The other exciting news in Denver while we're talking about free agencies and moves, we brought 2 new coaches in, 2 former players, JJ Barea, who played out there in Dallas. We swiped him off their assistant coach roster. He'll be a little bit higher up on our staff. And Jared Dudley, who I do believe also was out there in Dallas, played with Phoenix, played in a lot of other places. He'll be our first assistant sitting next to David Adelman. So interesting to bring in a couple former players. David Adelman, as we know, and has a lot of people have echoed, very much so a X's and O's and mind of the game type of guy. So bringing in some player-friendly sort of coaches sort of rounds out the what we need here in Denver.
That makes a lot of sense to me, to have your assistants be like the ex players who know the routine, the rapport to build up, how to speak to a player on like a 1-to-1 level of here's what you need to know to get better, and here's how we can do it like together as a team, that type of thing. It makes a lot of sense to allow your head coach to do the system install type of things and whatnot, and leave the assistants to clean up the details and do that more interpersonal work.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what our roster brings us. We still need a backup center, a real backup center.
That seems to be like the big, still glaring hole for the wish list.
Yeah, it cannot be Daron Holmes. He doesn't quite fit what we need out of a backup center, unfortunately.
And we already know it's not Zeke Naji.
Yeah, not him, probably. I wish we could give the kid a chance. He's one of the dudes that, like, he's kind of the opposite of Rafael Devers. We asked him to play a position. He's like, I'm going to go do it. And then he's really bad at it. He's like,
I'm trying my best.
Go stand in the corner.
Darn.
Go to the corner. Just go to the corner. It's kind of that way on both sides. He, unfortunately, Zeke Naji, I will say this, he can shoot the ball. He was a very good 3-point shooter, at least from the percentage wise. Downfalls for him, he cannot play center and he cannot defend. So I don't know where he fits on the roster for us, because
it's tough.
We have shooters, and we brought in dudes who are basically 3-and-D guys for the lack of better term. But that is the basketball roundup. The Denver Nuggets look bigger and badder than ever. If we add a backup center, Ella Horford, from what I've been hearing, who he's been just kind of sitting and waiting.
Yeah.
Good news for the Denver Nuggets is even if Valanciunas opts out, I think if Valanciunas opts out, we'll be, I think it's 12 or 13 million below the first apron, so we can offer another mid-level cap exception to bring in whoever else.
Nice.
So that's very, very good. And two, we are, I think it's 22 million in below the second apron, which a lot of people have been calling Satan's prison because you cannot do a lot of things. Basically a hard cap.
It does seem to really handcuff the front office in terms of options. But yeah, I did see that just from this week alone, our odds for taking the championship next year bumped quite significantly.
Yeah, we are. So I think it's a tough out here in the West because wouldn't you know it, who is all in the same division, but it's us, Oklahoma City, and I think Houston we are all in the same division because we're in the West.
Yep.
Us and Oklahoma City are in the same conference with Minnesota. So that is our conference. And then I think there's a couple more people with us. I don't remember who because we got too much to deal with.
It's already enough to keep yourself busy with.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be exciting to see how that turns out. I figured we'll take a little break from the sports coverage here and we'll do a little crossover event of the 321 pods. A Let's Take a Journey follow-up / This Week in Sports 1-year retrospective. For those who aren't familiar with the Let's Take a Journey, the original podcast on our network here, I got to do that was my premiere on the network here in episode 3.
It was 6, actually.
Okay.
4. No, it's 5. You're right. It is 5.
Episode 5, where we covered your life story, and I was the host, and I got to ask you the interview questions. So I figured we didn't really do this for our 1-year anniversary episode, so we're still close enough that I thought it would still be applicable to come around and do a little reflecting on the year of podcasting we've done. So Zach, let's take a journey over this past year at This Week in Sports.
Let's do it. I need to do another episode of this, by the way.
The people are clamoring for season 2 of Let's Take a Journey.
Yeah, need to finish a couple stories there. There's a story that's to be continued that I need to go back to now that you remind me.
Very good. Well then, to start off our retrospective here, I wanted to ask, are there any lessons or eureka moments that you've had in the first year of weekly podcasting?
Yeah, I think both of us has learned a lot. One thing I try to do early on is I try to do everything myself, which was a little overwhelming, if I may say so. It's tough to sit down, do all the notes, record the podcast, go edit the podcast, and then do some of the social media stuff.
The publication is a lot more work than it seems like.
It is, and I was doing fine. Like it's fine from a Let's Take a Journey side of things because it used to only happen every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So switching that up has been. It's going from that to a weekly thing. Doing this every single week, it's like a little bit of a scramble sometimes, and it's just like I need to do.
It's important to learn your limits.
It is very much so, and it's been fun, at least on the weekly sort of side of things. For the first, I guess we'll call season 1 of this is just a little bit of trial and error, just figuring out what works for us, what doesn't work for us, trying to figure out from a data analytics, because I'm a math guy, like where's our cut, where do we need to be. We have some longer episodes that do really, really well. We had some short episodes that did really well, and we've had both not do nearly as well as I would have thought or liked. So figuring out what our format is going to be and how to work around that to be a little bit different than some of the other sports podcasts that are out there, because we are one of the few that is weekly, where some of these people are doing emergency pods because they have the availability and access. It's like, how do we separate ourselves from that?
We're not quite on that professional level of having a setup where we can just hop on for the breaking news podcast. Yeah. Although working up to Press Pass would be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Similar notes for me. I will say, I think like my positive lesson that I took away from this year was audio editing was not as hard as I was concerned about. I'd heard some pretty nightmare stories about it, and I will say interfaces on those free audio editors, not good.
Yeah, the first
Not fun
Yeah,
to learn.
I was doing it so poorly for the first probably 6 months before I learned how to fit things all together. It took me about that long. I was like, for like a 30-minute.
Someone told me how to do this better.
Yeah, because I was just, the Let's Take a Journey originally was an hour and a half ish episode roughly, and for that hour it'd take me 4 or 5 hours to actually edit it. And I was like, I'm clearly doing something.
There's got to be a
wrong.
better way.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. And for sure, it took me at least a good 4 or 5 weeks to find any sort of like replicable workflow where I was like, okay, no, I can repeat this and feel pretty confident in getting a good result at the end.
Yeah.
Outside of the meta of the podcast thing, has doing the podcast affected or changed how you've been viewing sports at all, in any positive or negative ways?
Yes, I would say it's changed the way it's not, I guess, sports in general. It's the way I look at other sports podcasts, which are kind of sports. I would like to look at them to see sort of the things they do, what they talk about, how they lay out their episodes, which I think how we kind of experimented at least the first season with how we did our stuff, and potentially may change again depending on how everyone likes this. But I do like the setup that we have currently. The viewing of sports, I have been a little bit more engaged now once again. This is, like I said, this is a little bit strange for me because it's the first season I haven't coached basketball during the summer or things like that. So having a lot more free time just to sit back and watch and view sports has been fun and entertaining, like watching the FIFA Cup games that we have been going on the past couple weeks, catching a couple of those every once in a while, or WNBA game. Now there's time to do things like that.
Yeah, I would say in a similar fashion, the podcast has definitely sort of reignited my more analytical viewing mind while I'm watching. I'm definitely like paying a little bit more attention to names and numbers and like stat lines and stuff across. I mean, across hockey in general. I will admit that there was a while there where I didn't really have my head on for most of the games around the league outside of just Avs news, and even then I was just kind of casually watching. But a cup run will engage you in incredible new ways, and then now doing the weekly kind of mini reports, as it were. Having to kind of figure out how to digest more content than I was doing before. It's okay. There was a lot of games this week. Let's get through some highlight videos and check out some score box sheets.
Highlight videos. My inbox, my email inbox is filled with a bunch of different daily reports, breakdowns that happen.
YouTube and Instagram know pretty well that I will stop and watch most sports highlights now.
Yeah, I'm on the same track with that.
So that is that. If you could go back and give us or yourself any bit of advice, like you can pop a Discord message 1 year into the past before we hit record on the first This Week in Sports, what would you message to yourself?
Plan better, probably. Like the initial thought of like this all initially happened sort of out of a one little idea, like most of my podcasts do, oddly enough.
Yeah.
Like I had this little spark of idea and we kind of figured it out along the way. That's unfortunately just how my brain works. But now that I know a little bit more of what we're doing and how things work, give myself a little bit of advice about, hey, maybe try this or go do that. Like trying to figure it out. One, it's tough because in my creative side of the brain, I want to be different enough that we kind of do our own thing here that people will come back and watch
something unique.
Yeah, that you get stuck trying to figure out what that unique thing is, and then you become too unique because every episode is so different.
Yeah, a little hard for people to know what to expect, but hey, that's the thing, is a curveball every now and then keeps people on their toes.
Yeah, for sure. The one thing I would say is I wish I would have thought a little bit more about growth going forward, because I do a lot of this mostly just out of passion, but now that there's like an actual avenue here to do things, like world is wide open. It's the new age of podcasting sports. Why come to this podcast? We're not professional athletes. Neither one of us were. both of us have some high school, but most of us are avid fans. We know and love the sports, and we are, I think, very dedicated to our respective favorite sports. I'd say for the most part, at least from a mindset. So I think that's why some people may stop by. But
Yeah, I definitely agree. That is the unique value we bring. Is basically we've spent our entire lives watching these sports. We kind of know, uh, and have a pretty good history bank of examples to go off of too. So, yeah, 100%. Last question for our little mini retrospective here. Any goals or anything you're looking forward to in year 2 of This Week in Sports?
like I talked about, I want to grow more. And so far, in year 2, we've started to put out trailers. We've done a little bit more. We've done a website now that you've set up and so kindly set up. You help us run the YouTube piece of it, things, and wherever else our little trailer needs to go. So having all that, I think, has helped us a little bit grow. So I can want to continue to grow and see a little bit bigger numbers. I know we're not going to blow up unless just by happenstake we just get the one little clip that we need to grab the attention. But small, slow growth it would be ideal for me. Eventually, I want to make it, probably not make a living out of it, but just make a little chunk of change would be cool.
Make it a little bit of a business. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I would say, oh geez, what was I gonna say? Just lost. Yeah, 100%. Just have to keep like putting content out there, and we're doing it for the love of the game. Um, I had a good one lined up and I lost it. Ain't that just the way?
You fans on the one timer.
Yep. Swing and a miss, and strike 3 called. But that has been our lovely little let's take a journey style retrospective on our This Week in Sports journey.
Yeah, before we end this retrospective, the one question I would ask you is, one, I set up the trap on my episode 5 of Let's Take a Journey, but I know you've always kind of wanted to do sort of podcasting and things like this, but how does this feel like your thirst? Because you are, I would say, out of all the podcasts or even our new podcast, I'm by far the least creative and artistic, just by, I think, standard and grade, admittedly. But how does this fill into your creative outlets and things like that?
So actually, I would say that this one scratches a little bit more of the opposite side than my creative side, in more of the analytical and like organizational brain. That the first year was very much a kind of how to make it more efficient to cover all the games in a week and keep the notes in such a way that it wasn't like a 4-page, like there was still notes and not a report.
Looks like a Habitat Humanity receipt just spitting out.
Yeah. Sure. Or Walgreens could have been another pool.
CSV.
Yeah.
CVS.
That's the one.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, just that was more of my initial engagement, and then season 2, I think I am pulling in a little bit more of the creative side since I have taken over on the album cover or our cover art for each episode, and
rightfully so, my add.
I mean, hey, I was impressed by the attempt in season 1. I'm never gonna knock anyone for trying to flex their creative muscles, and you did it for 50 some weeks.
I did it for a full year. I did the full year's worth, and then you said, "Wait a minute."
I mean, I was already doing the year episode edit anyway, so I was like, all right, we'll just go ahead and I've got everything here. I'll put it together this time. And yeah, that does make a little bit more sense from a background point of view for the two of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, so doing that, and then yes, the sort of building the website and everything, and I remembered now the thing I swung and missed on. The thing we need to focus on, growth for year 2. We gotta be workshopping catchphrases more.
Oh,
merchable catchphrases. It's the key. Ay.
I'll think of.
Mamma mia. No, that one's already taken. We'll just throw them out like spaghetti. See what sticks.
Yeah. Be like Saturday Night Live over here.
Mm-hmm. I do some of them, but copyright.
That
I have a
does,
deep library though.
yeah, it does exist. Figure out something. We'll get a catchphrase.
Because the only thing we're constantly repeating is hello and welcome and hello, and those aren't you. I mean, they're fun, but they're not that merch.
No. It's just the intro. It's the everyone's intro.
So we need hot new catchphraseable intro for next week. That's your assignment.
Yeah, we have to have a catchphrase for every sport.
Every sport, we need some Chris Berman style, fun bits to do.
Booms and bangs and clatters.
He could go all the way.
To Brooklyn is where Michael Porter.
Okay. There was a little bit more sports news we need to cover before we get too carried away here, and I think we're just coming up on our usual time limit here. A little bit of hockey news this week. It was free agency in the hockey world as well. Much quieter, though. But the big fish continue to get taken up quite quickly in this market. The Mitch Marner being the best free agent on the market was quashed before it could become reality. The day before free agency opened, I think that was also Monday, he did a sign-in trade. So he signed the 8-year maximum deal with the Toronto Maple Leafs, who then immediately traded him to the Vegas Golden Knights, who will have him for 8 years at $12 million.
How old?
Mitch Marner is still in his 20s. I can get you an exact number here in just a sec.
Just good for Vegas for snatching the top free agent because they needed something out there after the abysmal season they're not used to having. But I'm curious if they paid Peter but stole from John here a little bit.
A little bit. So Mitch Marner is coming in at 28 years old. He's about 6 months younger than you.
So he'll be 36 by the end of the deal.
He could theoretically play that out.
He could. When do you I don't know as much about when the NHL sort of prime we start to see the decline there.
It depends. I mean, we're in the weird era where if you're a super freak of nature like Ovi or Crosby, it never happens. And then some folks who are mortals, it mostly generally hits post 30. Some guys don't quite get up to that 30 mark very gracefully either.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's the gamble, right? You could pay for him and he could be good for the first couple years, 2-3 years, but
yeah, if Vegas has shown, if nothing else, they are kind of always in win now mode, and they will juggle whatever they have to do on their roster to make it look like it might work this year.
Hey, good on them. It's the right place to gamble and try to go win now. Go big or go home.
Yeah, basically. So almost certainly some of their other big names who are aging veterans now will probably be moving around in the near future, but that's the big kind of news out of the week. In Avs-related notes, Nathan MacKinnon's best friend, Jonathan Drouin, no longer on the team. He has signed with Patrick Waugh's squad over in New York with the Islanders for 2 years and $2 million per.
It doesn't seem like a whole lot.
It's not a ton, but we had him on a 1-year, $2 million deal. This year, we didn't offer qualifying contracts to any of our pending free agents. So
curious I'm going to let McFarland cook because he's the chef and he knows what he's doing. From what I saw last go round, but sad to see best friend bonus go.
It's a dark day, but we do have enough forward talent to fill the top 6 without Jonathan Drouin.
MacKinnon, he was eating the pasta. We had to send him.
And Nate would understand if there was pasta being eaten. The other Avs note, we signed a 40-year-old defenseman, Brent Burns, to a 1-year deal.
Ray Bourque?
That's the hope, but this deal would have been a lot more exciting maybe 6 or 7 years ago.
10 years ago?
Yeah. Brent Burns, in a storied career as a 40-year-old, has played for 21 years in the NHL since 2004, but still does not have a cup to his name. So, yeah, a little bit of the Ray Bourque scenario going on. Unfortunately, he just got out of a 3-year deal with Carolina where he went from producing 43 points a game. Let me make sure I'm on the right column.
Was he their captain too?
I don't.
I
He
kept seeing-
used to be in San Jose as a
I
captain.
kept seeing pictures of him with a C on, but I don't know if that's just where the C
I
for
think the
Carolina.
Cane. If it's on the left, that's the Cane's
Yeah.
just alternate jersey where it goes.
That's where
the captaincy is on the right, left.
Oh.
But yes, so in this 3-year deal, he went from producing 61 points in the first year of the deal, 43 points in year 2, coming off of 29 points.
How many games? Well,
82 games all year. So he's healthy. Played the full season.
How much playtime we getting here? That's because 20 a year is crazy. My man is.
So yeah, there was an era where Brent Burns was scoring like 82 points automatically.
Also, to be fair, what if we're just looking at points here? That is not the team that's going to generate a lot of points.
It's true, but 60 in year 1, it kind of looked like, oh, he still got the riz. But now it's very much a reclamation project sort of thing, and he kind of takes the Eric Johnson old man.
I was going to say, do we
roster
still
spot.
have EJ on our roster too?
He did not get a qualifying offer. He was at the end of a 1-year deal.
That's fine. We'll see him before the trade deadline anyway again. So.
If anyone picks him up, there aren't many people who have. Oh, well, I take that San Jose is still looking to meet the salary floor with their roster. So they might need to buy up a aging defenseman to give
Eric Johnson. We'll give you
12 games a year.
$6 million.
That would do the trick. Pretty good. He'd go out to California, I bet. But yeah, so Brent Burns, the only big deal of the free agency period thus far.
What? Hear me out.
Okay.
Brent Burns. Eric Johnson. And then we can have 2 old cat night.
That's too old a cat. Yeah, that is more akin to what the roster is looking. Although I will say Brent Burns, a stalwart icon of the league, and also made an appearance on the television series The Vikings because of his good Viking beard.
He looks like a Viking, and he is missing a lot of teeth. So
he fit the look very easily. But yeah, that is all the hockey news. And then in the PLL report for this week, it's a quiet one because it was All-Star Week.
Yeah, that makes sense. 4th of July week.
4th of July did make sense. And I forget that we're already halfway through the season at week 6 here. So
that's a quick season.
It's pretty short little burst here. Yeah. But in the All-Star weekend, East versus West ended 13-15. The victory going to the West. All-Star MVP from your Denver Outlaws, Brennan O'Neill.
I would assume we're in the West, but I don't know who makes these boundary lines anymore.
Yeah, one would hope the logic follows, but yes, we are in the West and had 6 Outlaws represented on the All-Star team this year. Brennan O'Neill, the MVP as a starter, along with Jake Pacino. And then on the reserve list, Brett Kavanaugh, Dalton Young, Ryan Terefenko, and Logan McNaney rounding out your Outlaws on the All-Star docket. The Eastern team did nearly pull this one out. It was looking like a laugher for the first half. They went into halftime 3-12, and then it ended 13-15. Also a pretty terrible second half from the Western half All-Stars. But yeah, so that was the action this week. Kind of low effort, no one injure each other affair out for the All-Star game. We will be back in action in the regular season play next week. The league will be out in Chicago, and the Outlaws will be facing off against the Maryland Whipsnakes, who are 4th in the East right now at 2-3. And looking ahead into the future a little bit, the PLL comes to Denver the weekend of August 1st.
Exciting times here. Bring home be nice. I'm curious. Do they do like because they're doing like a little tournament style thing, right? Or
I mean, that's essentially what the league is. Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. So yeah, That is all of my sports report for the week. Do we have any updates from any of your secondary sports report?
Secondary sports report. We are still amidst the FIFA Club World Cup. Got bad news for the fans out there. Man City did not make it in. They did end up dropping to Al Hilal. First round there, did they not make it out of round 16, even though that they are one of the better teams in the tournament. Al Hilal is, of course, over there in Saudi Arabia, who have been known to pay some big players some big money, and seems to have worked out. They did end up taking this victory from Man City on Monday, 4-3. PSG, like we talked about, did make it in. Bayern ended up playing, I think, later in the evening on Sunday, also made it in 4-2. Real Madrid beating Juventus, which is a big matchup, 1-0 there. And Dortmund on Tuesday beat Monterrey. So that takes us out of the round of 16. Good enough, luckily enough for us. The quarterfinals are already finished because we're running out of football games to watch and play, and they can only play them on so many days. So yesterday we saw Chelsea beat the Italian team, the Palmeiras, and Fluminense upsetting Ahly. So the Brazilian team there from Brazil, very, very exciting. Like I said, the Brazilian football has been going crazy out there in, well, wherever it's getting played here in America, but out in the FIFA World Cup Championship. And PSG takes the victory from Bayern 2-0, and Real Madrid beats Dortmund 3-2. So that leaves us with our semifinals of Fluminense against Chelsea, who you have recently supported in the past, way back in the past.
I'm still pulling for them. Let's go Chelsea.
And then we have the huge matchup of PSG versus Real Madrid. The Chelsea and Fluminense will play on Tuesday, and Real Madrid will play on Wednesday. That will be our semifinals, and then we'll have a final next Sunday for the full championship where they get the adorable little trophy. And some notes to be said here. This one was a little sad. I think it was the PSG and Bayern game where we saw one of their players go down, allegedly, potentially with a broken leg. Not the tournament you want to break a leg in, because really this means nothing for most teams.
Yeah, bad business decision.
Yeah, don't know what happened or why. I guess it was just a goal. It was a goalie and a player tangle up, and just was bad. No one was happy about it, naturally. But that is the news from the FIFA World Cup. Next time we come to you, we may have a champion. We will have a champion because it's going to be on Sunday at 1 p.m. and probably should record after that, but
you never know. Sometimes we come to you early.
But if I was a betting man, which you shouldn't go with me because my bet is already wrong, seeing how Man City didn't make it out, I'm stuck. The PSG
Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea has a lot on their hands because it just seems to be the way the Brazilian gods rain down on football. And if Fluminense can beat Real Madrid, Chelsea, I don't know if they stand a chance, because I know, or not Real Madrid, Man City, because Man City is way better than Chelsea. But Chelsea might be
in a regular setting in the Premier League, but in this nonsense means nothing tournament
in American,
this is where Chelsea
in
takes
this American
over.
Soccer showdown, which is hilarious.
In this nothing exhibition tournament for no stakes, this is where they're gonna come.
You get a trophy.
Okay,
people like trophies.
Not no stakes.
People like trophies.
That's true.
Nice fancy trophies. But the PSG and Real Madrid one, I think, is the toughest one. If I had to guess, Real Madrid should maybe advance. They'd have just the better team overall. They spend the most money overall, so that'd be my guess there. And I'm gonna root for the Brazilian team and Fluminense over Chelsea, unfortunately, because I'm tired of seeing the same teams win again. And this could be the spark of Brazilian football up for a lot of football fans. Like I said, potentially there might be the world sport here in football. Potentially there might be some more eyes on this tournament from around the globe, in the Europe, the Italy, Latin America, all the places that are really not us or Canada or Australia, who play football as their first love. Get some eyes on the Brazilian league. So that's always cool and nice. We like to see the little upcomers as the little upcome podcast ourselves.
Sure. Although Brazil's had a lot to cheer about in the soccer world for a bit.
On a national level, like I said, so it's crazy to me right? When we're talking about football, the meaning of like national level play for each of the players is completely on a different level, except for
Yeah.
yeah. I don't want to say America on this 4th of July
Yeah.
weekend recording, but yes, America does not have the same sort of patriotism. I guess is what you would call that for going to compete for your nation. I don't think that's true, and I think that's true in like probably every sport for the most part, except when it really matters in like World Cup time for America or the Olympics when we're going to hockey.
Yeah, when
And-
gold medals are up for grabs, then Team USA locks in, and not a moment before.
Yeah, in the Summer Olympics, no, not really. At least in the basketball world, we have enough great basketball players that you could create a super team with a number of them.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, any other sports news that you would like to talk about before we head into our beloved quiz?
I think we covered all the big stuff. So yeah, sock it to me with quiz time.
Quiz time. What a time it is. A time that we missed out on last weekend. But we're back again. Back with a friend. Back with the quiz that what is the line or the points don't matter and games are all made up here?
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Whose Line Is It Anywhere, where the points are made up and the rules don't matter.
Yep, that one.
Yeah.
But as for our video game or for our game here, in this game, the theme I needed to be inspired about as I thought about our quiz, and for some reason here in the Mile High State, we've been lucky enough for some reason, and we've been blessed and gifted with what will be called Fan Expo, which is a Comic-Con equivalent here out in the Mile High City. So I decided,
Oh boy.
we're going to go a little nerdy, and we're going to go into the world of comic books and that sort of thing for our sports trivia today. So
Pop culture sports trivia.
pop culture sports trivia. And some of these you should know. Most of these you should know. Some of them,
Love hearing that going into a quiz.
yeah, they're easy peasy. So we will start super easy on this quiz. Is Superman is, of course, huge hero, and why start with him? Because oddly enough, there's no more American hero than Superman, except for maybe Captain America.
There was
who-
also the run where Superman lands in Russia. That's the Red Sun.
yeah, he's also an alien and the whole thing here. But when it relates to sports, who did Superman fight here? This should be an easy one. Did Superman in a comic book, did he fight Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, or was it Connor McDavid? Which one of these
Interesting. Fourth
fighters-
option there.
which one of these fighters did Superman fight?
Oh boy. Quite the list there. That was give me the rundown one more time, please.
Mike Tyson,
Uh-huh.
Muhammad Ali,
Uh-huh.
Joe Frazier, or Conor McGregor?
Oh, I'm gonna say that was a Mike Tyson showdown.
It was not a Mike Tyson showdown. It is
Damn.
the infamous Superman versus Muhammad Ali, where I'm pretty sure they had Muhammad Ali beating Superman for some reason in the
That's
DC
just how good Muhammad Ali is as a boxer.
the DC world. And of course, I am a little biased. The Marvel movies are very, very big, but I myself am a fairly big DC fan. So we are in that realm today for all of our sports quiz because
Oh boy.
biases. Next question up. We are 0 for 1. Sad. So can't go anywhere but up from here.
Absolutely.
Cyborg was a high school superstar in which sport? Was it
Okay.
baseball, football, basketball, or track? Canonically, I should say. In
Yeah.
canon.
Yes. I believe canonically, before becoming Cyborg, he was a star football player.
He was indeed before a number of different accidents that he's been through, depending on which comic you're reading, got blown up in the football field and all. Whatever wacky stuff happens in the
I
DC.
think there are some iterations where he is a multi-sport athlete too.
Sure.
But yeah, football's the one he's known for.
The one he is most known
Why
for.
he has got the big shoulder.
Yeah, can't imagine why that would be in the American comic. Why they would choose the football, but who knows? Next one up, another football related question. This one you should get.
Okay.
This is going to test the memory of the mind. Who Who is the football team in The Dark Knight Rises? Who is the Gotham football team?
Oh, I mean, I don't even need. This was the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it was Hines Ward who ran back the touchdown.
Sure. But what is the Gotham team name?
Oh.
Is it the Gotham Raiders,
Okay.
the Gotham Knights,
Uh-huh.
Gotham Rogues,
Uh-huh.
the Gotham Robbers?
It was the Gotham Rogues.
It is the Gotham Rogues, in fact.
Yes.
We are 2 for 3 on the board.
Yes.
And you are correct. We had a lot of beloved Steelers fans there because Gotham, for some reason, it's Pittsburgh.
In the
Who-
Nolanverse, it was a little Pittsburgh, little Chicago, little
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 bit of
Indianapolis, I think, at one point.
a little bit of all the grimy, dark places that apparently a lot of crime happens and Batman has to defend. But beloved Hines Ward was there. I think Mike Tomlin might have even
I think
been there.
Tomlin was on the sidelines. I want to say Roethlisberger makes a cameo.
Yeah, he did. A lot of Pittsburgh love out there.
Yeah.
Next up, these last 2 ones, not gonna lie, a little bit harder. We'll
Okay.
start with the easiest of the hard questions, if that makes sense.
Sure.
What sport is played in the Batman Beyond animated series called? Is it hyperbola, hyperspeed, rollerball, or is it speedball?
Think for WB, they did not call it speedball.
Did not call it speedball.
I'm gonna go with rollerball.
It's not rollerball. It was actually hyperbola. Rollerball is, in fact, a sci-fi movie, which I think it stars like Harrison Ford or something like that. That they have. Honestly, they're very, very similar. You have the little scoop in the ball, and
Sure. There's only so many iterations of sports.
in the future, everyone's on skates and they have pointy biker helmets with masks, and they throw balls into things.
I can't wait till we tronify all the sports so that we know we're in the future. Like the Savannah Bananas are the closest ones to giving us like the Neon Night.
Yeah, I don't know if the. I'm curious what is going to happen for us first, if they tronify them or if we lose all like active human participants in the sports.
It just becomes robot sports, and then
Yeah.
that's why they're tronified.
Yeah,
That could be fun too.
yeah. I don't know how much I'd enjoy that, but who knows what the future holds. And the last one, which one of these is not a comic book hero? Is it Sportsmaster, Sportsman, the Skateboarders, or Triple Jump? Which one of these is not a actual DC comic book person?
Give me that first one again.
Sportsmaster,
Mm-hmm.
Sportsman, the Skateboarders, or Triple Jump?
Boy, they're also plausible. That's a good rundown. My instinct is to go for the Skateboarders, so that's what I'll do.
Yep, your instinct would be wrong. The Skateboarders actually do exist as a superhero combination. It's 3 teens out there skateboarding, fighting crime.
Sure, and that's the best name they could come up with was the Skateboarders.
They're creative, you know. Overall, though, we went.
Wait, what was the actual fake one? Was it Sportsman or Sportsmaster?
It's Triple Jump, actually.
God bless it.
Sportsmaster and Sportsman are
No,
both.
Triple Jump is the best one on the list.
I know, it's created out of my mind.
Okay, very good
oddly-
job on
yeah.
that one.
Oddly enough, Sportsmaster and Sportsman, same man,
Same, yeah, very
S-
plausible.
same guy. What the Sportsman was created in like the 60s, and they're like,
And then he came back in like the late 70s, early 80s, and like we have to up the intensity on this guy. He's a sports master.
yeah. The issue was like, no one's afraid of a sportsman.
Or is he like just a weird sports version of Taskmaster
You're not wrong. He carries like a bag with him.
with random sporting goods and
Yeah.
can use them all pretty well?
Yeah,
The sports master, all right.
yeah, he is sports master. And that does it for our quiz. A little bit of rough here on the
What did
Fan
I do,
Expo weekend. We went to a good solid 2 for 5.
Okay, yeah.
So 40%. Not
That's about the rate I've been going at on your quizzes.
Yep, excellent batting average.
Yeah.
Quiz average, who knows?
Going for golf score here.
Golf score, great golf score.
I'm shooting so far under par.
That's an eagle. You
Yeah.
score an eagle there. That's great.
Alrighty. Well, on another smashing success of a closing quiz on my part, I think that's all the coverage we have this week.
Yep, we will see you guys next week. Who knows what the world of sports holds for us? Will the Denver Nuggets lose another player to some Europe or Latin American basketball team. Who knows? Will they find a backup? I don't know. Stay tuned maybe next week. Thank you guys for coming along. Remember, if you have not done so, please give us a follow. Give us a rating. We like a rating. 5 stars would be, so nice. Go check out our podcast, 321pods, pods.com. I do believe our YouTube is also 321pods. Go give us a subscribe there, follow along.
Smash the buttons.
Smash the buttons, like, shares. Like we said, our goal this year is to grow. We want to grow as big as possible. Slow growth if we're going to go that route. But if we want to just jump it up there, we are down to do that. We'll figure something out. We'll make it work.
Absolutely.
But thank you guys again for coming along. Next week, we'll have hopefully the Avalanche do something more.
I was going to say, I'm going to be a little surprised if I have much hockey news for next week, quite honestly.
They have some money and they need to go do something, maybe, perhaps. The basketball world is on fire, and I expect it to be the same.
There might be some notes out of rookie development camp, and then the Rockies are hosting the Boston Red Sox and the Cincinnati Reds.
Can't go well for us. NBA Summer League has also started as of today as well. So get to see a couple new rookies and young faces, and some faces that have maybe lost some limbs during their time that will be back again.
Hopefully no one rips an ACL in the second game.
Yeah, it's tough out there right now. And the FIFA Club World Cup will have a championship of some sort. Who will it be? Hopefully,
Chelsea.
I'm gonna go with the Brazilian team. We all like the little guy. Anyway, I of course have been your host with the most, Zach, and along with me has been my contestant in my dastardly game of fantasy sports, Nick.
Yes, and one of these days I will get a passing grade.
Depends on if
one of these days.
What do we consider as a passing grade?
Certainly not going by my old Catholic school grading rubric, where like below a 70 was an F.
Yeah, but I feel like that depends. We have to figure out. I'm curious what the highest score is on one of these quizzes, because I have not gone perfect.
No one's aced anything yet, which I think is good for the quiz writing.
Yeah, if we add the curve.
Yeah, curve. I'm probably right in the bell.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, great. We'll see you guys next week.
Adios.